Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, not here with Geeky Sparkles. We're going to talk about Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, and tariffs. Remember how tariffs were like the worst thing ever a month ago, 2 months ago? And everybody was talking about tariffs. Everybody was blaming price hikes on tariffs. And Trump was out to single-handedly destroy the board game industry. Well, it didn't really go down that way because the tariffs has been a bit of a reprieve. I mean, look, we're not out of the woods yet, but there has been a bit of a reprieve with China. And I have to wonder, like, there's so many of these board game companies that literally burnt their companies down. They're like, that's it. We're going out of business. We're not going to, because tariffs, we're going out of business. And the tariffs hadn't even hit yet. Like 2 days into it, they're like, hey, yeah, but probably the tariffs are going to be 150%, you know, if we don't work something out with China. Well, that's it. We're going out of business. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Or, oh, there's like a 3-month, you know what I'm saying? It's like, gosh, this is ridiculous. So, yeah, we're going to talk about this because it is very possible. I mean, it's very possible that, this stuff is going to skyrocket. Hasbro's telling parents to buy toys now. I think they're telling parents to buy toys now because they want money now. They want money in the third quarter. But we're going to take a look at this and see where we're at with these tariffs. But yeah, I mean, just the fear of tariffs shuttered so many board game companies. Just absolutely insane. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to news.clownfishtv.com for more podcasts and news. We're kind of trying to build a bit of a life raft off of YouTube because tariffs, digital tariffs. No, I don't know. Everything's crazy, man. The world's crazy now. Nothing works right. Everything's broken. So let's look at this first. This comes from Investopedia. Hasbro is telling parents to buy hot toys early. Here's why. Shoppers may encounter shortages of in-demand toys this holiday, said Hasbro CEO Chris Cox. Tariffs are leading retailers to take a cautious approach to inventory, and replenishing supplies could be challenging, said the company. Yeah, so a lot of them cut back on orders or they canceled stuff. Hasbro really doesn't want to be making toys at all, I don't think. They're outsourcing more and more stuff. Consumers may limit the number of people they shop for this holiday season if concerns about the economy and tariffs persist. Okay. You have to be scrappier. Well, don't worry. I mean, kids don't want toys now anyway. So there are plenty of Hasbro toys at Ollie's. You can get all the Hasbro toys you want. Those collector's edition Ray action figures from 2015, they still got them for like $3 each. And I guarantee you they're going to have them at Christmas time too. Retailers may run out of in-demand toys this winter, said Chris Cox, CEO of the toy and game company Hasbro. The government's continually evolving trade policy has led some retailers to delay their orders, taking a cautious approach to inventory, which may make it harder for Hasbro to replenish shelves. I said this during the earnings call. Okay, they said a lot of hot products are going to be out of stock this holiday. Play-Doh Barbie, Nano Malls, and Baby Eevee. I don't know. Notice Star Wars is not among them. We're just not going to be able to replenish them. If you're mom or dad, you're probably going to want to go and buy early. The late holiday orders contributed to a 16% year-over-year drop in revenue last quarter for Hasbro's consumer products segment, which includes action figures, stuffed animals, and other toys. That's not good. Americans have been hitting stores earlier during recent back-to-school and holiday shopping seasons as they look to save, according to the National Retail Federation. Consumers are likely to start looking for gifts early this winter. They're concerned about shortages. They want to feel special for their kids. Kids want iPads. Kids want V-Bucks. Kids want Robux. All the bucks. They don't want Hasbucks. They don't want Star Wars bucks. Shoppers may need to be more discerning about who they buy for, pulling back on, well, wait, this is pretty bad. Okay. Pulling back on how they define who their family is, maybe focusing more on who their core family is, their immediate family, rather than buying for extended family, buying for acquaintances. What? How did you vote last fall? Oh, Susie, your mom voted for Trump. You're not getting the dolly this year. It's not, Hasbro shares are down, closing at 76.84. They have gained 37% this year. Yeah, that's pretty good. They gained 37%. Now, here's what's going on, though, is they're relying more on trading cards, Magic cards specifically. And they look, credit where credit is due. I'm not a big Magic fan, but they're killing it with the Final Fantasy stuff. And I don't even like Magic. And as a huge Final Fantasy nerd, I was looking at those cards. And I'm like, oh, I am so tempted. I am so tempted to buy a couple cases of those because I really like the artwork. I didn't do it, but I thought about it. And I've never thought about buying Magic cards any other time. So yeah, they're doing really well with that. But they can also print those in the U.S. Cards you can print in the U.S. The problem is all the toys and the tchotchkes and stuff. CNBC has it. Hasbro beats second quarter expectations as gaming division offsets tariff-fueled toy slump. A tariff-fueled toy slump. Hasbro topped earnings and revenue expectations. Magic the Gathering and Monopoly Go games helped drive gaming growth. Toy and entertainment sales fell, and the company recorded $1 billion charge related to tariffs. They said tariffs represent a headwind for the business, said Chris Cox. We are compensating for these costs through a combination of cost reductions, rebalancing our marketing spend, diversifying our supplier mix, and implementing some targeted pricing actions. Also, I can almost guarantee you they're going to lay more people off. Shares of the company fell 4% Wednesday. Here's how Hasbro performed in the quarter ending June 29th. Okay, earnings per share, $1.30 adjusted versus 78 expected. So they overperformed. Revenue, $980 million versus $880 million expected. Yeah. The company reported a loss of $855 million or $6 a share for the period compared with the net income of $138 million or 99 cents per share. Hasbro attributed the loss to a $1 billion goodwill impairment related to its consumer products segment and the impact of tariffs. Adjusting for that impairment as well as a one-time items related to restructuring and severance cost, among others, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it said overall revenue declined 1% from the same quarter last year. Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming brought in $522.4 million in sales, up 16%. This isn't just a one-off moment. It's a clear indication of the power of Magic's community. We're just getting started. Yeah, Magic the Gathering is basically Fortnite as a card game at this point. I mean, it's like every freaking tie-in, but eventually that gravy train is going to run out too. Right? I mean, it is. All the stuff cycles. But for now, it's getting them through. But, you know, my big takeaway here is that Hasbro does not want to be in the toy business. They'll continue to make collector items, I think, but like very expensive collector items for people like me who are stupid enough to keep buying the stuff. But like they're outsourcing the normal toys to Playmates. $10 Power Rangers. You know, I could see them outsourcing Star Wars at some point. So what's this other one here? This is Quartz. The trade war is really real right now. Well, I added the really. New earnings by Hasbro and GM show that tariffs aren't just political abstractions anymore. They're reshaping the business of legacy consumer brands. Okay. So the first quarter was all about the threat of tariffs. The second quarter is shaping up to be about their very real impact. Actually, I can tell you, at least on some of the stuff, the impact is negligible. It's not nearly, like I said, I don't understand why people, before they even knew what the impact was going to be, they basically burned their businesses down. So I think their businesses were failing before, and they're like, oh my God, tariffs, that's it. We're going out of business. Bye. Oh, we have 17 crowdfunders that need to be fulfilled. Bye. Whoopsie doopsie. It's just insane. They said GM on Tuesday announced more than $1 billion tariff costs that cut earnings by a third and warned of even more damage in the third quarter and beyond. Hasbro released results painting a similar yet arguably far more dramatic picture. The takeaway is that tariffs aren't just political abstractions anymore. They're starting to reshape the business of legacy consumer brands. Actually, Hasbro said they kind of sidestepped it. Why toys portray trade policy? It's Chinese manufacturing. They said there's also seasonality on top of the Chinese manufacturing. A huge share of annual revenue comes in the fourth quarter tied to holiday sales, meaning companies must place orders and lock in supply months in advance. The lead time makes them vulnerable to unexpected tariffs or changes in shipping costs. That's true. Everybody built their businesses on, the assumption that they weren't going to have to pay through the nose to get cheap stuff in from China. They said toy companies also have IP, digital, and entertainment related segments that can boost margins. Still, when tariff policy shifts abruptly, as it has under Trump, companies like Hasbro have to have somewhat limited levers to quickly adapt when it comes to physical products, which can force them to resort to price hikes, cost cutting, and absorbing margin hits. And yeah, smaller companies can't absorb it. I mean, it's really bad for board games right now, right? So you have the tariff thing, and then you had the Diamond thing. So if like the tariffs didn't take you out, Diamond stole your shit, and then they're going to sell it to Ollie's. Yeah, it's just like, damn, everything is just going to hell. I said Hasbro's second quarter earnings show a complex mix of strength and strain. This is where they kind of lose, because they're kind of like, oh my God, guys, tariffs are destroying the toy industry. Oh yeah, Hasbro did pretty okay. It's I don't know. But they're telling you to buy early because they don't have their orders locked in. Yeah, I think a lot of these companies, they were placing their orders for the holidays around the beginning of the year, and they probably didn't order as much because they're like, it's going to cost a fortune to ship this stuff in. Meanwhile, at Target, I mean, it's interesting because this is Target. Target's blowing toys out like crazy. I mean, we were there like a week ago, and they had Masters of the Universe, which they're just like rotten on the shelves. Now, I don't know if the movie is going to maybe spark some interest in it, but stuff's just like rotting on the shelves. They're selling $20, $30 figures and sets for like $8. So there you go. Buy early. Buy yourself some cheap ass He-Man. Buy some Ray figures for the kids you hate that aren't part of your family. If you decide that they're not worth it, like that lady said, just buy them some Ray figures. All the day, some Rose Ticos. Actually, you can't find Rose Tico anywhere. I haven't seen a Rose Tico in ages, but I've seen a lot of Rays. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. There we go. Tariff, false alarm. I don't know. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.